So it's really painful,
Yes.
unbearable. Well, when I go to the beautician, I'm also satisfied with myself.
I realized what it's like to do it without anesthesia because in the future it stopped working. I don't want to go there. Why? Because it will hurt me there. Yes.
Like being tied on a leash?
On the needle, of course.
On the needle.
Little bruises are always there.
Because it's a huge amount of money.
It got to the point where my lymph nodes became inflamed.
All surgeons should send, perhaps,
to a psychologist. During the last procedures, I could take some painkiller or something.
The number of women who will be satisfied with themselves. Hello, everyone. I welcome you to the unprecedented first podcast, Lena About Face, where you will learn when and why plastic surgery by hand as therapy will replace cosmetology, hardware cosmetology, and even plastic surgery itself. Stay with us until the end. You can expect surprises, gifts, and a lot of interesting things. Then who am I? Why can I talk about what I'm talking about? My name is Elena Babutskaya. I am a craniosacral therapist, a kinesiotherapist, a reflexologist, an osteopath who has combined a vast number of manual practices into one so that a woman feels not just beautiful, not just desirable, not just catching admiring glances from others, but is satisfied with herself, which is the most important thing. So let's keep watching, and I introduce my interlocutor, my wonderful kindred spirit, client, patient, Kristina, Kristinoshka. Yes, that's me. To be continued. Tell us about yourself. How did you, in general, find me among the vast number of people, specialists, therapists, and the internet space?
All right. I'll start by saying that I want to share my experience, my story. That is, this is my story, how I went through it, how I started it, and how I completed it. Not that I completed it, I'm still continuing it. You're continuing? Yes, I'm continuing. But the end is near. So, I don't even know where to start. So now it's more like a memory for me. But I'll probably start by saying that at 33, I think, like most women of our, our land, space. Our land, yes. I started resorting to injections.
So did some question arise for you immediately?
So what did you became dissatisfied with yourself? Did something happen? Naturally, yes. So it developed, it wasn't just like that. Not just that I was satisfied with everything and I went for injections. No. Some wrinkles appeared. Some changes were already kind of age-related. Visible. Visible, yes. So I specifically remember what it was. It was the nasolabial fold. It's like the face was sagging a bit. So I went searching. I found a good, as it seemed to me at the time, a good specialist who helped me, a doctor. A cosmetologist. Yes, a cosmetologist. She led me to the result. So we started the procedures.
What procedures did you do?
What procedures? We did injections. So it all started with, I don't really delve into, I trust.
And you didn't even ask, in principle, didn't find out any details.
I just trust. I lie down and, if I feel connected to the specialist, then it's all like I'm in trust. And since she is a professional, I can trust her. And I don't manage this process and don't want to delve into any details. So today what I remember is she even, now as I recall, she doesn't even ask, yes. She sees it herself, she makes the cut herself, so to speak. And you just lie down. You lie down and there are some injections. So, something was tightened to have biorevitalization. That is, there were fillers, Botox. So in certain areas, wherever it was needed, all of this was applied. But I'll be honest, of course, I saw the result. That is, it was there.
Was there a frequent period?
Yes, of course, it was done regularly because...
Regularly, and exactly how often?
Probably we started once in... It all depends on... Botox isn't done often, so we did it once a year as needed, yes. If it started to move, that is, the Botox was only here and, just between the brows, so somewhere. I think to myself, I honestly don't know. Honestly, I don't delve into it.
That's an interesting point. We'll revisit it.
I didn't Maybe it's just my way, but I didn't delve into it. So I understood that if I start and the forehead starts to move and some extra wrinkles, extra creases appear, then it's time to renew the Botox. That is, if there's some, I don't know, dryness, moisture is needed, like skin dryness, loss of color, freshness of the face. So if it's something from this area, then biorevitalization is needed. Or it was done seasonally, meaning there is seasonality.
So the focus was on movement, right? So if the forehead moved, we block it. Skin dryness, that's immediate. So is it like that? Yes? This equals that. So when you saw it, you immediately addressed it.
Yes.
So in your mind, it's like a neural network, right? That was forming. So if I have this, I go and do this. If it's this, then that. And if it's this, then it's seasonal. And if it's seasonal, then we do this.
And also, well, it's all based on regularity. So it should be a course. I mean, one procedure gives an effect, but a course naturally will give an effect. Actually, there was an effect. So I don't even hide it. There was an effect. Everything. I was very satisfied with everything.
How many years your story was?
I was about 33, probably. Now that I recall, I think it was 33. Yes, 33. It was until 35, 33, 34 maybe.
So the speed of processes at this age is still good.
Well,
Yes. In principle, yes. So it's good both ways, even without anything?
yes, everything was good. And how many years did it last? Everything was good regularly. I visited once every 2 to 3 months, or that is as needed, as if by necessity. But I understood that, for example, I saw that, well, like for instance, when I looked in the mirror, I didn't understand, do I need to go, right? So like, do I already have the need? Yes. So like but since it's time, we kind of go, yes, so we go do it.
So outwardly, you don't seem to see the need, but it's like you've been given deadlines and you're like, oh, 2 or 3 months have passed and you're already looking, well, has anything changed or not?
We have some kind of schedule formed, right? So, and you go and do it.
Was it painful for you at first?
No. In the beginning, everything was great. She numbed me effectively. I was lying there calmly. You've never done it without anesthesia. No, never. No, I didn't. No. Was it always very painful? Always. Yes, well, of course, naturally, it is painful. So really very painful. Yes. Unbearable? No. I don't know. Girls do it for whom? Although I have a high pain threshold, but apparently not in this area. Procedures? Yes. I never even tried. But then I realized what it's like to do it without anesthesia, because in the future it stopped working.
So how many years later?
Those were already my last procedures. It was,
How many did you do from 33?
well, it turns out 6 years for me. About 5 to 6 years, if you roughly take it like that.
38, 39.
Yes.
Is that when the anesthesia stopped working?
Yes, the last few times it didn't work at all. And was it very painful? It was applied, as it were. I lay as required, endured everything according to the time. But we started the procedure and I directly said it hurts. It hurts, it's uncomfortable for me, and because of this, a certain fear developed.
So every time when it's like time for you to...
When I know that, for example, I need to go for a procedure, I already understand that I don't want to go there. Why? Because it will be painful for me there, right?
The body itself inside.
But you have to go, right? Since there's this moment, yes, and you go anyway, you go endure, and there are consequences, because when it doesn't hurt, you're relaxed, right? You're completely relaxed, lying down, and you basically don't feel anything and everything is okay. But when it hurts, something might twitch somewhere, a muscle or something. Yes, something touches a vessel. It touches a vessel and a hematoma forms. That is what, did you have that? Yes, of course. Hematomas always remained.
So the rejection of these procedures was indeed so strong that the body started to...
Well, hematomas were rare, but I have a specific area. It's the area around under the eyes. This is such a thin area where the skin is thin and sensitive. There, if the anesthesia didn't work somewhere and I felt it and could twitch a muscle during the procedure, then the needle went deeper. Yes, it apparently hit a small vessel and a small hematoma formed. Well, they were like, I don't know.
Little bruises?
Yes, yes, small ones. I don't have large bruises.
So after the procedures, did it take time for these bruises to go away?
After the procedures, initially I had a good recovery, but then it became more difficult. The further it went, the more years it continued, the harder the recovery was. Yes, because regeneration was happening.
Well, all processes are slower.
Very slow, yes. That is, I had the longest procedure. It got to the point where my lymph nodes would become inflamed. Right after the procedure, these would become inflamed. How do I feel it? By sensations, did they actually increase in size? They increased, yes, yes, they increased. And even during the last procedures, I could take some painkiller or something. Yes, it was that bad already. Yes, yes. So if it hurts, it doesn't work. Well, I understood that. Actually, at first, there was a good effect. There was lifting, and naturally, all the wrinkles disappeared. So the forehead smoothed out because I have an expressive face. So I constantly move my forehead, which naturally caused these creases, but eventually these creases disappeared. Yes. I liked all of this, but somehow by the way, I didn't notice this swelling. The fact that I had it, as I can now see in the before and after photographs.
By the way, you will see the before and after photos of Kristina. They will appear on your screen right now.
So this puffiness, I never noticed it before. During the procedures, I didn't notice it.
Because you look at yourself in the mirror every day and get used to yourself. You think that you look okay like this. Yes.
So, well, actually, the cosmetologist I worked with, honestly, I have a very good relationship with her because she's a good person. We had a wonderful relationship.
By the way, you told me she injected herself.
Yes, of course. They also inject themselves with all this. Doing it yourself, as it should be.
Your own doci.
Your own doctor, yes. So actually, I don't have any negativity or any complaints against anyone, right? I mean, not against any of the doctors, nothing at all. This is my position. And it's purely my internal attitude. And I understood that apparently on a subconscious level, our mind kind of says it's necessary. But on a subconscious level, apparently the body was already, it was already fighting, didn't want to, right?
Is it giving you some different information?
Yes, yes, yes. I think this request formed for me at the moment when I stopped seeing the effect.
And you mentioned something else about your eyes. Something about your eyes wasn't resolved.
Oh, yes. I want to talk about how I stopped seeing, that is initially, my problematic, this drooping eyelid. Initially, that is, it's not so easy to lift this eyelid and...
With the help of cosmetology?
Yes. During the procedure, when everything is swollen, it all tightens and lifts beautifully.
So, apparently they injected those areas to lift that part.
Well, yes, the effect of this lifting, it's kind of on the swelling. It's wonderful. Everything is fine. That is, you come, have the procedure done, and you see the effect. Well, let's say the swelling goes down within a week. The second week, everything is fine. By the third week, not everything is fine anymore. That is, everything still sags. Yes, the eyelid sags. The eyelid is heavy.
Even heavier than it was before.
Yes, over time. That is, it wasn't immediate. In the first years, everything held up. Well, I was younger too. I don't know. Maybe because of that, 100%. Maybe it's cumulative. Cumulative too, yes. And so I saw that there is an effect. There is an effect, but it's temporary. That is at the moment of the procedure. After you do this procedure, I understand that it doesn't work, right? And I think that at that moment, an internal request formed within me. Something needs to be done. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Apparently, to get a different result, you need to take different actions, right? So something needs to be done. What to do? I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have one. You didn't know what to do? I didn't know. I understood that there might be some hardware solutions.
In that same direction.
Yes, 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 in that direction. Yes, hardware solutions. Although I always loved the manual massage, so it was always a pleasant procedure.
Did you have massages before?
I did them as maintenance between procedures. I always had massages. I did Kobido. I really liked it. The effect. I did a lifting massage. So not regularly, but still. I like how the procedure itself goes. The sensations, right? So you lie there calmly and it's pleasant for you.
So it was a massage not for effects. It was just a massage for relaxation?
For relaxation, yes.
Because massages, they serve that purpose.
But we still have to When doing injections, we still need to take care. Some kind of care still needs to be present.
Certain processes should still take place.
Yes, yes. And I really liked manual massage. It was pleasant for me. But I never found the time for it, as always. When I remember how it was, even at what moment. While browsing through Instagram, scrolling through the feed of my friends, that isn't the people I follow, I saw you broadcasting. There was a forum. You were speaking from the stage at the forum here in Chisinau. Yes, those girls were present and posted it on social media. I saw it and thought, I should try it. Once, how to say? It was exactly a year ago, by the way, on the 25th of November. Yes, today we are celebrating the 22nd. Apparently, I found what I was looking for at that moment, and that's how it happened. When I visited your profile, I thought, well, I'll write now, sort of. It was evening. As usual, we sit in the evening. I thought, now I'll write. Well, how are we doing with the schedule? I understand that there's busyness, like the schedule is tight. I have commitments, right? Then I wrote and you replied to me. I don't know, literally within, I don't know from when, but a short period. So we synchronized our schedules. That is, yes, when it clicks like that in one go. I, for example, read this as a sign when everything is like, it wasn't complicated. In the flow, yes. When it all goes, that's it. There was no resistance. Yes, 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 yes. That's why I catch such a moment and I understand that this is it.
But when you read it, you just went to take a look out of curiosity to see what and how.
I went to the profile, I looked at the before and after. I looked at how the procedure goes. I understand that it's just a massage. That is a massage with such an effect.
Did you think that just, well, sort of describe what was in your head when you were coming to me?
Well, actually, I kind of thought, for some reason, I immediately thought with ease that it would help me. That is, yes, those were my immediate internal feelings, yes. And, well, did you somehow see some kind of picture in your head? Well, I imagined that it would be like, as I understand what a manual massage is, yes, which I love. So I imagined that I would just lie there, enjoy it, yes, sort of. And at the same time, yes. And well, naturally, as usual. I don't know how this procedure goes. So I easily think, especially with such an effect before, and well, I looked at the before and after photos. It's great.
Works well.
And such an effect. And there's no pain. Yes, and there's no pain at all. So it happened very easily for me. I went to the procedure easily.
Was it a little painful for you the first time you went?
Absolutely not, Lena, never. Wasn't it? Not once.
So girls, pay attention to Kristina's words. You often ask me if it hurts her during therapy. As you can see, it's all very individual. Everyone has a different pain threshold. Some have a high threshold, some have a low one. So Kristina didn't feel any pain even during the first procedure. So it was pleasant right away.
There's also this aspect of relaxation. Yes, when you're in a relaxed state, when you trust. Well, it's rarely painful. Although initially when we started working, the procedures were more intense, more noticeable. It was more noticeable. But I didn't feel it that way. I mean, I had everything there. I didn't feel the hands but kind of with each procedure, yes, it's, how to say, let me think. In general, I love a strong massage, even a body massage. I like it intense. I need it so that I can feel it. Yes, it's not a relaxation massage. So it's not like they're just stroking you. So you can tell the girls that it's not just gentle strokes, not like light ones, right?
Yes, because it's done without any coverings, without oil, without creams. Just hands and face.
But nevertheless, it's a pleasant sensation. So it's an intense, pleasant intensity, let's say. So it's not...
Well, were there any new sensations? So it wasn't like other massages?
Not like others, no, absolutely. Just different, yes. Completely different. I can't even compare it to anything because it's just different. Well, I don't even know.
So, no, there are no comparisons? No. So it's something you just need to experience, and then you'll decide for yourself. Is it for you or not?
Yes, all movements are different. I mean, well, I can't even say what they are because they're just different.
Different. So everything is completely different, absolutely different from classic massages like Kabito, like various relaxing, lifting, sculpting ones, and so on.
Different.
Yes. Tell me, please. During which session did you start to notice? So you came to the first session and decided to go to the second one?
Of course, right away.
So after the first session, you realized you would continue?
Of course, yes. I'm that kind of person. I mean, if I immerse myself in something, I really immerse myself, I have this good quality, which is patience and discipline. And discipline is very important. And regularity. We can talk about discipline later. Yes, because these are qualities that actually help us structure our lives in our daily routines. Yes, remove some chaos from our lives.
And actually, more time appears when there is discipline.
Yes. And the energy is kind of directed specifically towards this procedure, right? We don't waste it somewhere else, but it's directed. Therefore, I didn't even have any doubts. That is, I didn't even have any thoughts about not coming a second time. I understand that is initially that, it's silly to believe that a miracle will happen after one procedure, some kind of transformation. After the first session, you walk out and you're a beauty, that's all.
So you understood that the process is a process and that after the first procedure, there can't be any wow results. Although it does happen, it happens. But I want to make a remark. Kristina had been seeing cosmetic injectors and her face was filled with various substances. To remove this, it takes a little more time. When a face comes without anything, then the result is visible faster. Yes, 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 yes.
It's definitely noticeable right away because, we first worked on removing first we removed everything, yes. All the substances, yes. But actually, I can't say that after the first session I had a wow moment like I saw it. I was prepared for the fact that it would not be just 1, 2, or even 3 sessions. The mindset, by the way, is very important. So I was ready. We started talking. So yes, this is also a very important point.
Let's emphasize that.
I just remember I didn't prepare, it's improvisation, but I recall that we started talking. Naturally, you lie there during the procedure with your eyes closed. And Lena talks, and then you get up after this procedure and you feel, wow, I'm so beautiful. I'm just the most beautiful. Confidence in yourself appears, yes. Confidence appears even though we were just talking, yes, like
We talked about different topics actually.
you get up and you realize, yes, that for example, something isn't perfect, but so what?
Well, it's like, yes, that's their charm. Yes, it's like unique.
So this inner feeling changes. It changes, of course. But you need to work on it. It's not just about conversations and massages for this inner feeling. What gives us confidence? You need to work on it. And many factors are involved in this. But I remember standing there looking in the mirror thinking, well, there's the eyelid, there's a little wrinkle.
Have you started to take it easier?
Yes. And I think, no, somehow it's easy for me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't irritate me. Even though I'm a perfectionist, it doesn't really, I'm completely calm. Yes, yes, yes. I don't react like that. I mean, it doesn't trigger me like it used to, where I would be like, oh, saw it. And then gotta.
So you see, this is your attitude. Yes, your long-term vision of such a result. So you were going somewhere and you were like, well, okay, here is good, there is good. There are no such nitpicks. And the fact that I work with the body.
Yes, that's true. That's also a good, let's say, factor. Yes, an additional factor. We understand that our face, yes, and our body are two unified objects, so to speak. I don't know what to call them.
So did you have any sensations? Perhaps maybe unusual ones that you felt?
Body.
Lightness in the back of the head, in the neck.
Yes, the neck, yes, by the way.
Cervical region.
Yes, cervical region. Since I'm into sports, the first thing that gets tense is the trapeze. Yes, trapezius cervical region. There's always stiffness there, and even I feel it. When I come to you for a procedure, yes, so after the procedure, I feel this lightness, immediate lightness. Yes, yes.
Because we accumulate a lot of unnecessary stuff here. And all of this needs to be released because this part significantly shortens the neck and prevents drainage, leading to swelling and everything else. So it's essential, just like everyone has their own system, but for example, right? Why do I adore Kristina? Because thanks to her internal systematic nature, I started to engage in sports very actively. Because looking at her figure, I am pleased. Yes, so Every person has their own individual structure, right? And that's why I always say, as I often mention, if there is an exceptionally great system, and if there is discipline and consistent in following this system, then the result is inevitable. So when I do a massage, I have a system for each of you, right? So Kristina has her own specifics, her own structure, a certain body, certain how she is built, what her sensations are, her age, how much tension she has, right? These are all individual parameters that are taken into account. And that's why when you create a system individually for each woman, thanks to this system, the result simply cannot fail to occur. It happens in any case. And of course, everyone has a different duration. But we already took the first photos. I think it was your fifth session. And we already saw an excellent result because the swelling had significantly reduced. And you said, I can't believe I looked like that before.
That's not my face. That's not my face. I remember those words. Yes, that's not my face.
So you saw the difference, how much your face changed literally by the fifth session. And this is already considering what we were removing. But in reality, what is important? Of course, trust. So if this connection happened first, yes, in the first session, then the body, it's like such a unique structure that has its own intelligence. And it turns out that it either trusts or it doesn't. And this depends on your internal trust, on your intention, whether you are ready or not. If your intention aligns, then the body allows me my hands, right? So purely energetically, I enter. And I just understand where to go and how to ask your body to make those changes that, well, my hands see, basically, yes. I mean, I see with my hands, and when I touch, these sensations, of course, are hard to convey, but it's difficult to find the right words. How is that? Maybe there will be some new terminology, because it's really difficult. So when you place your hands, you just feel what needs to be done with you. And every person, when they come, I immediately switch, like changing gears. I quickly adjust, quickly adjust. Hands feel different bodies in completely different ways. And the most interesting thing is that I remember how you used to be. So when my hands feel that something is like it used to be, I need to change this, emphasize here, relax there. Yes, I am very glad to have these sensations. And tell me, with the sessions, what new things have you started to feel, for example, on your face? I understand that the Botox is gone, you stopped doing injections.
Yes. I mean, we get used to ourselves, right? That is, we look at ourselves in the mirror every day, every morning, right? And these changes, they kind of we look at ourselves, right? And it seems to me that nothing is changing. Like everything is fine, right?
You used to yourself.
Yes, everything seems fine. You don't get caught up, nothing bothers you, right? But it's as if you're not changing. But I remember when you sent me the before and after photos, I looked at them and thought, no way, that's not my face at all. So the first thing that went away was naturally the swelling. The swelling went down. So the lines became, yes, the lines became more defined, yes. The face gained a kind of geometry because naturally I have this cheekbone, but it became more even. The asymmetry disappeared. The asymmetry disappeared, yes. It's like the neck lengthened overall. I noticed that too. And when I saw the before and after, I definitely started each time. So apparently, there was some kind of, it's when you absolutely see your result. When you see, like after sports, yes, when you've done such a hard workout, yes, you enjoy it. It's the same here. When you go, and it's like you're doing the same monotonous thing, which it seems like nothing is changing. Yes, nothing is changing. His routine, right? So not many people particularly like this routine, right? But when you see your result at that moment, that's when you get this inner confidence. The feeling of confidence, yes, that you are going
in the right direction.
Yes, that you are on the right path.
You're taking the words right out of my mouth. So you completely stopped going to cosmetologists? I mean, you finished.
Not only did I stop, yes, I don't even have the thought of returning to cosmetologists, of course. I didn't notice it at first. I didn't immediately realize that I stopped using additional care like masks. So what was required? My skin always required additional hydration. It's oily, so I don't need any nourishment or anything like that. But hydration was necessary. There was dryness. Yes, constant dryness. Yes, The spots after acne were very difficult to get rid of if there were any breakouts. Yes, I am prone to some allergies. That is, I can break out somewhere. These spots were very difficult to get rid of afterwards. The redness of these, it's kind of gone already, right? The breakout is gone, but nevertheless, the spot remains. I noticed that I stopped using additional masks. That is the moisturization that I did regularly every morning, evening, morning, evening. So naturally, I kept my daily routine in the form of cleansing. That is a must for me.
Well, because skin is oily.
Oily skin, yes, it definitely needs thorough cleansing. But I want to say that my products have changed, meaning they have become slightly less aggressive.
Much lighter?
Yes, even oils have appeared in the composition. Although oils are not particularly recommended for oily skin, but I already want this to be.
You've already started to feel it, which is interesting. Have you started to feel something you didn't feel before?
No. I see it's dry. Need some hydration.
Visually. And here you start to feel it and directly associate these sensations as a need.
And I even told you, right, Lena, I stopped using masks. Yes, I use some serums at night, but creams, no, of course not. I don't even think about it. I don't even have the thought. Not that I am there.
Have cosmetologists closed this topic now?
Of course, I've closed this topic. 1,000,000%. Of course, I'm glad. Of course, I'm glad. That's why I'm here, right? Because I'm kind of here for the girls so that.
For others who are kind of choosing.
Especially, I'll even say, yes, I have more since I'm the mother of 2 teenagers. My oldest child is 17 and my girl is 11. And I'm more concerned about this generation because it's the marketing generation and they are very susceptible. Yes, all of this affects us, not us, but them. Of course, it affects us too, but mostly them. They are more vulnerable, right? As the younger generation, they are more vulnerable, more sensitive, naive, and fragile. And now young girls,
Look at Instagram.
they resort to it, yes, because ideals, templates, and so on are imposed, right? All of this determines them. Yes, fashion, all of this determines them. It's not their sincere inner desire.
They can't figure it out themselves yet.
Yes.
They're incapable.
Due to their maturity, or rather immaturity. So they can't desire such things. Therefore, the message to the girls, to the young girls who truly feel they are not perfect somewhere. Yes, indeed, in reality, you need to work at this moment. It's mainly during the adolescent puberty period. You need to work more, turn inward. Yes, work on your inner state on your own. That is.
On your confidence, on your self-esteem.
Yes. Yes. There are many ways, like sports.
Different ones.
Including sports. Yes, sports boost confidence.
More engagement, discipline, less comparing yourself to others, more comparing yourself to yourself.
Yes.
It's like a competition with yourself.
Yes. Because when you start comparing yourself to someone else, yes, you just devalue yourself. Everyone has a different path. And, well, you can't do that.
It's like the saying, you can't compare yourself when you're in the middle of your journey to someone who has already finished theirs.
Yes, you need to self-compete.
So this might be your middle and he's already.
Naturally, yes.
Right? So that's why, yes, it's really important, actually. And why do you think at this moment, from the things you've stopped, what have you kept? My massage.
Yes, massage. Daily cleansing, occasionally the light peels. Once. So a home peel, meaning I don't visit cosmetologists. I have a very large arsenal of skincare products at home. Those who know me well know that I don't use decorative cosmetics in everyday life. So mostly I go without makeup, even without.
That's one of the advantages, right? Now you can easily manage without.
No need to cover up anything, touch up, nothing is needed. Because the skin tone has evened out. Evened. Yes, both tone and color.
And color.
The color is
even.
Yes, even, and a pink, natural pink kind of shade.
Pleasant.
Yes, pleasant. And I also like that the face is mobile, it moves. I'm emotional. And all emotions can be read on my face. So I'm not worried about what I do with my forehead.
By the way, Whoever says write in the comments, what a beautiful forehead Kristina has. So how long have you not been using Botox?
Well, more than a year now.
More than a year. So the fact that we've done massages many times and it has shown itself long ago, everything is fine with the receptors and the facial expressions are normal. At the beginning, it was more active, you said?
Of course, when we just stopped the treatment, I felt
how it started to move.
I started to feel it, right? So I move and...
Wasn't it scary?
No, not scary. At first, when my facial expressions just returned, they were there. They were there before. They returned, yes. I understand that, yes, a little bit, of course.
Unusual?
These wrinkles, I think. Well, something like that, yes. Well, I can't say that it really bothered me, right? That it somehow really affected me. No. It's like a mild effect, and I accepted it easily. And when we talked, you said that this is the first stage, and then it will come under control.
By the way, many people after the first stage immediately say, no, 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 I'm going back to Botox. It's again the same choice and intention, right?
No, I understand that I need to endure a bit more, right? So like here too, this discipline is involved. Yes, it is involved.
Strict discipline?
Understand that
you're a hard worker.
There is a decision you just need to...
So you won't go to the P5th anymore?
No, if I start something, I don't go back.
So my therapy has basically replaced for you.
Yes.
A huge range.
Yes, I also did hardware cosmetology. So
it indeed replaced a lot with just this one thing, massage therapy.
Well, first of all, it's very pleasant, right?
Pleasant.
Once a week to come and lie on the couch, it's very pleasant. It's not painful, girls. It's not painful at all. I don't know, maybe in the first procedures, possibly when the substances are being removed. Maybe it's more painful for someone in terms of sensations. I don't know for whom. But after that, it's a pleasant procedure. Actually, you just need to relax and
that's it. And trust, and then the body will trust and let the hands in.
Yes.
And what about the cumulative effect? Because when we were removing, yes, you yourself felt that you had something here. You don't feel the temple here where the glabella was injected. It wasn't felt at all. It wasn't there. I couldn't touch the bone.
Yes.
When I used my hands directly,
I started to feel my hands, yes, the fingers.
To feel the fingers that they are passing through, yes, there's the bone, there are the temporal, frontal, and corrugator muscles.
This sensitivity appeared.
The sensitivity appeared, yes. So what is sensitivity? Sensitivity is your connection with the brain. Because facial muscles are directly connected to the brain. If the muscles in the body go through the spinal column, then facial expressions are directly connected to the brain. And this is essentially direct work on the development of cerebrospinal fluid dynamics. Because when you work with the breathing of the bones, it's craniosacral. You stimulate the pituitary gland. What is the pituitary gland for us? It is our female sex hormones. So it's all quite deep. In other words, as I always say, I don't work with wrinkles. I work with systems. And if the system is clean, yes, meaning you can feel the bone, feel the muscle, you sense it yourself, right? All the receptors are clean, the facial expressions are lively, your blood flows, your life flows, right? And this feeling, this very feeling is called youth. So this very feeling indicates that you are alive, you are young, energy flows through you. Not an immobilized forehead, not pumped up cheekbones, or a filled nasolabial fold, but this very living sensation that you truly have blood everywhere. So in principle, the circulatory system is incredibly important. And if there is good outflow, there is good inflow. When you have this inflow specifically to the face, to the head, yes, we're not just talking about the face because I don't separate the face from the head and I don't separate everything else from the body either. So these sensations, they give confidence, right?
Yes. And I want to say even more that if I have breaks between procedures.
When you go away?
Yes. And when, for example, I do it regularly. Visiting once a week. Now we've switched. Before we sometimes did it twice a week. Now it's like once a week for me. And if I take a break, I see how it reflects on the face, that is, on the skin. So regularity is really important. That is, you can't neglect regularity. You need to maintain it constantly. I see how the color, well, I can't say that I see it. It's somehow reflected in the expression, like the face somehow sags. No. I see it in the quality of the skin.
Quality.
Yes, quality. We're just talking about blood. About blood, yes, I wanted to say specifically about how you feel that the face is so alive, right? It's nourished with blood, healthy circulation, healthy complexion, even tone. the face is alive, meaning it moves, it's alive, right? There's none of that. When you skip the procedure a little, that gets lost.
The feeling gets lost.
That feeling.
Just because people often ask, how long does the result last? How can you answer that question as someone who has experienced, in principle, the whole spectrum from the beginning to...
I never consider the result in the short term, right? I always look at the long term. I don't even...
Like in sports,
I don't set for myself, yes.
Any time frames.
No, I don't have that. So yes, I mean, the result is, I understand that the result is an accumulated one. Oh, so we worked, yes, when there was nothing. For example, I didn't notice anything, saw the before and after photos. Wow, results. We keep working. And I understand that I'm only moving forward. So I only...
Some kind of build-up.
Accumulating, getting better and better. I can already see that I control my forehead and facial expressions better.
Facial expressions noted again. Write it down. By the way, whoever writes the most detailed comment will get 10 days free in my app from me. I'll talk about this at the end. But please write how you view Kristina's forehead and how active you think her facial expressions are. To me, as I look, you seem to be
active.
I've emphasized it. You moved twice, and now you have a smooth forehead. And everyone will say, no, she uses Botox. They'll write in the comments now.
Just like they write to you, they always write to me. No, she uses Botox.
Absolutely not.
But if you want, you can move it, right?
You can move it, yes.
So if you kind of...
So you started to feel that your facial expressions are under control again. There's none of that. So when the receptor recovery after Botox is over, right? The Botox wears off and the facial expressions start to recover and then they even out, right? What would you advise those who are watching us right now and thinking, wow, what kind of magical therapy is this? For those who are just considering a massage, who might still be at a crossroads about whether to get injections or choose something else?
Well, actually, yes, let's start with the fact that you won't lose anything, right? Even if you try this massage, yes, it won't harm you in any case. Let's start with that, right? From the worst case scenario. So it definitely won't cause any harm, right? That is if you don't have, let's say, a certain level of trust in the patients to wait for specific results that you expect, because each person expects their own result.
So would you recommend where to go first? Definitely where.
Um,
Should one focus on massage or cosmetology? For example, the first girl, now cosmetology is becoming more popular among the young. I don't know. At 18, they're already doing something. At 20, they're doing something. At 25, they're doing something.
All right, I understand.
So a person decides, thinks I need to do something with my face. Where do I go?
Well, I'm also thinking about 18-year-olds. But where should an 18-year-old go? Well, my child is 17. Well, that's a child. Yes, that's an older teenager. Well, that's a child. Where should this child at 18 get injections or anything like that? There's no need, no demand, no natural need, not even any kind of...
At 30, for example?
But 30, maybe some needs start to appear.
They appear. So where to go? What is the first step for those who are unsure whether to get a massage?
Go, naturally go, yes. Well, in any case.
So no, I just can't even, right?
I can't compare. Yes, I can't say. How can you say, to a 30-year-old woman, go and get an injection? Well, somehow, I don't know. I don't have that in my mind anymore. I can't recommend that. We should try a more eco-friendly method to start with, right? I mean, we understand that injections are not quite eco-friendly.
I'll tell you about an interesting study, by the way. I'll provide links at the end, which shows that injection and hardware cosmetology, according to research, are on the same level and have the same rating as deep tissue massage procedures. In terms of the evidence of the results they provide, they are on the same level.
On the same level.
It's just that there are many consequences, risks, as you mentioned, hematomas, this. Here, the purity is crystal clear.
Here it's eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, absolutely. So you lose nothing, you don't risk any nuances. Although on this side, the risks are much higher.
Of course, there are many risks in injections, a lot. Starting from even the most experienced cosmetic doctor, they also
can make a mistake.
It can be,
moreover, such a mistake that can actually lead to...
I think every doctor, if we are being completely honest, can say that every doctor has had such a case in their career. And I had such a case too, yes. But nevertheless...
What happened to you?
Well, we actually had a case where we were lifting the eyebrow and it just fell.
It fell.
We had a thread, and that is, there were threads. And this thread just, well, we tried, honestly, I can't remember exactly what happened. But I want to say that my psychosomatics worked very strongly at that moment because when we consulted the surgeon, and the surgeon said that it would be necessary to make a small cut. That is to perform a light operation. Yes, but it's not like blepharoplasty. To remove this thread, you need to make an incision in the eyelid area, yes. When I heard
Incision?
the word incision, I said, no, wait. He says, well, surgeons, they are such cynics, quick to cut everything.
Yes, yes.
And he says, come tomorrow, come, but I'm free. We'll quickly get it out for you. For me, it's not quite like.
Did the brow just drop?
Well, it's just a thread. When we tightened it, it seemed to have sunk. And it was sticking out a little, like from the brow, from the eyelid. It was slightly competing, so to speak. Well, only I could see it. It wasn't visible to others, but still.
And then it dissolved there, right?
He told me to come back the next day, right? At that moment, I was flying off on some trip. And Lena, a miracle happened. When I arrived at my destination, I looked in the mirror, and the thread was completely gone. So that's how psychosomatics worked. It was so unacceptable for me to cut or do something to change something that the thread just, I don't know how it happened, but I walked around with it for a long time, probably 3 or 4 months for sure. It didn't dissolve. So threads don't dissolve that quickly, right? And my doctor, together with my doctor, that is my cosmetologist, we have a very good relationship. I'm thankful to her. It's an experience.
It's an experience. It's an invaluable experience.
It's a big event.
And that's why I invited Kristina first, because many think that I am against cosmetology, injections, and so on. Girls, absolutely not. It's the choice of every girl, every woman who is going somewhere. But when we are offered something, the first thing that should always kick in is critical thinking. And it must kick in because the first question you should ask is, what will happen? What are the consequences? So I'm doing this, but do I understand? So I have no guarantees, right? So I'm doing something and no one will give guarantees. Neither the patient knows guarantees, nor does the doctor know guarantees. Yes, I believe that cosmetologists genuinely believe in what they do because they do it to themselves. But it's a certain level of faith in one's own body. That is, I believe so strongly in the power and intelligence and in the mind, body as separate entities from the human brain and intellect, that for me, these possibilities are simply limitless. And no research is needed, right? Because if I breathe, why do I need research? I breathe and that's it. That is, research is needed when you want to prove something that is unnatural. Why is there so much research in cosmetology, in hardware medicine, and so on, right? In plastic surgery, that is, you want to prove something that doesn't actually exist, but you need a lot. And now you can prove anything for money, basically anything, any research, for God's sake, order it for any amount of money. Therefore, what is natural, yes, is what changes on its own. Because when a deep tissue massage occurs, it's not me changing your face. I just remove what hinders, and it knows on its own where it needs to move, upwards, spread to the sides, what shape to take. That is, it's like a joint dance, a joint venture between my trust in you, your intention, and simply my trust in you, along with my hands and knowledge. That's all there is to it. I'm really glad, in principle, that you agreed to come because not everyone is ready to sincerely show themselves before. As you say, I don't recognize myself in the photo. Many of my clients have simply incredible results, but women are simply not ready to show their face, as you say before.
Because naturally, I know why. Do you know why? Yes. The internal request is kind of unresolved.
Unresolved, yes.
These women need to work a bit more on their emotional inner feelings, I think, on their confidence and self-assurance.
So it's not about how I look bad before best self, but about what happened overall. How can that be? So basically, right now, at this moment, I am immensely grateful to you because, as I say, you have made a huge contribution to, this interview will remain on YouTube forever. Why am I doing a podcast? Because a podcast should be watched even 10 years from now and 15 years from now, as long as YouTube exists. And every girl who might have just been born now, right? And who will watch this podcast in 15 or 20 years. And she will have some internal question, what should I do next? And maybe in 15 years, I will be happy if there are a lot of women, by the way, who will be on the app, and that's how it will be. That's why I'm creating the app. There will be a huge number of women who will be satisfied with themselves, and they will work on themselves, not as a reflection in the mirror, not as some unclear external substance, but they will work on themselves from the inside. Because when you work on yourself internally, you shine on the outside, of course. And if you want to cover something up on the surface, but that's not really you, right? I mean, I have a lot of respect for plastic surgeons. They are incredibly smart and competent people doing amazing work. But the question is, why do these women request it? Why do you want to do this? There is always some secondary benefit, that's for sure. And definitely an unresolved psychological issue. I think all surgeons should refer patients to a psychologist, right? Initially, I mean, how is it? As a former lawyer, there are no former ones. In court, it should first go to a mediator, a negotiator, and then to me in court, So initially, before going to lie on the table under anesthesia and so on, first go to a psychologist, psychotherapist, psychiatrist. That is, everyone needs to work through different levels of depth. But in reality, there should be some kind of cooperation. I understand that this is a lot of money, right? But in any case, if you do this for the benefit of women, for the benefit, look, it's not just one woman. You have now shared your experience a night with a huge audience of millions, possibly billions. And this experience is like an investment in the great evolution of all women. Because when you are satisfied with yourself, your husband is satisfied, your children are satisfied, your family is satisfied, everyone around is satisfied, you understand? And the more women who are satisfied with themselves, who don't, now everyone will definitely start writing, girls, write detailed comments. I'm very interested in your opinion in this direction because people will write that, well, when I go to the cosmetologist, I also remain satisfied with myself. What do you think since you had this experience? Were you as satisfied with yourself then as you feel now? Just tell me the difference.
Yes, there is satisfaction, but this satisfaction has a time limit.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, yes. Are you like tied on a leash? On a needle? On a needle? Yes.
That's a good comparison.
You're on a needle, right? Yes. So it's already like a need.
So you're satisfied for a certain period, and then you're dissatisfied again. It's like a seesaw, right?
A substitution of concepts, a swap. It's not
true pleasure, without a doubt.
It's not your genuine desire. So it's good. It's all imposed. Imposed? Yes.
Can you say that openly?
It's insincere. I mean, well, I say it openly. I don't hide it. It's all, well, it's not like that. So here.
And what is it?
That moment, for example, when you see that something is wrong, that something just needs to be adequate. Actually, let's touch on another question that came to my mind. There are moments when plastic surgeons really do bring benefits, right?
When they help?
Exactly, yes. When there is a real need.
Children are born, for example.
When there are some defects, birth defects, that is. It's just like manna from heaven. When, for instance, a person lives with this defect, naturally it affects their confidence and their quality of life, right? That's the moment when plastic surgery is simply necessary, right? But if you look at it,
it's a necessity, prescribed for health.
But if we look, for instance, at the larger number of people who turn to plastic surgery, today it's young or middle-aged women who, well, basically are okay, right? I mean, yes, there are age-related natural changes, right? There are wrinkles. There are naturally, I don't know, some natural things that are a normal, natural process, right? I mean, we are part of nature. We naturally age, right? That means we get gray hair. It would be strange if they didn't appear, right? We get wrinkles. I mean, it's a normal, natural process. And at the same time, right? I mean, girls who are really beautiful, young girls, when you look at them, she's really a beautiful girl, right? Like she has a nose, for example, or lips, or eyes. Something about her isn't perfect. Well, not perfect from whose point of view. It's individual. So I want to say, why isn't it perfect? Because it's not imposed by marketing. It's not, the media doesn't show us such an ideal. They showed us this nose is perfect, right? But she has a different nose. Yet overall, we perceive a person not in segments, but as a whole. That is, we interact with them, we communicate with them, and read information from the person as a whole. That is, when I communicate with someone, I don't just look at the nose or the eyes or the ears and so on, right? At the same time, these, let's say, how to choose the right word, individualities, which the unique features, yes, indeed. For example, such as this girl with these unique features, she is so, I don't know, maybe for me,
So attractive.
she is so wonderful, beautiful. Exactly with exactly this bump on the nose,
Exactly these ears.
exactly. You with this flaw, it just fits right in because in the overall picture, you look at the girl and she is truly beautiful. Beautiful. Well, a beautiful creation.
Energetically. You look and you truly feel and sense how much she.
Yeah. So therefore,
Do you think it shows whether a woman is satisfied with herself?
of course it shows. It's readable. Yes.
Through any appearance, right? She might not be conventionally beautiful, but in a way that is so incredibly charismatic, so undeniably attractive that you want to look at her, even if it's far from the golden ratio, right?
In such cases, I usually say that if I don't like something about a person, it's my problem, not theirs, right? If she, for example, has imperfect shapes and is wearing leopard leggings, as we take this classic,
If that catches your attention, like,
it makes me gape. That's my problem, not hers. Everything is fine with her. She is content with life. She is happy. I notice it. So it's my problem. One needs to work on oneself. In her worldview, she is perfect.
then what do we want to do? Those young girls, they want to be as they were told to be, and they think that those who look at them will like them more. But in reality, as you said, those who look also see a pattern or see themselves in you.
Well, look.
And you can't change for everyone. 8 billion people. How can you change for everyone so that everyone loves you?
Well, look at the photos of modern young girls.
They all look alike.
They're like twins. Agree with that.
By the way, I wanted to ask a question. Write in the comments why they make noses like ski jumps and big lips instead of small lips like mine and a hooked nose with a bump. Why don't they make noses like this and narrow lips like these? Why does it have to be plump lips and a ski jump nose?
Well, actually, we are now moving towards naturalness, authenticity. Yes, this is already, in fact, a trend. It's a trend. It's noticeable. It's already here, and hooray! Yes, and I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? I wanted to say that many girls already understand this, and even at the age of 30, 35, having some fillers inside them, yes, in anything at all, they just remove all of it. Remove it, and I
Deflate their lips. Girls who have been coming to me for a very long time come to me. See, some get injections. I accept everyone. Those who get injections, those who do something. My therapy is not related to whether you do something or not. It's entirely up to each person and it doesn't interfere with the recovery process. And so girls come to me who get Botox injections, plump their lips, and lengthen their chins. I see all of this. And of course, sometimes they feel awkward coming to me. I just lengthened my chin. I say, I see, you don't need to tell me anything. I see everything. Or when they come, did you get any injections? No, I didn't get any injections. If you don't want to say, no need to, but I see everything. And she says, look, Lena, you saw, she came to me, deflated lips. I say, I see. I say, I congratulate you on this because really, many young girls come and say, I'm removing my eyebrows, I'm deflating my lips, I'm removing this, I'm removing
nails, lips. So we are all moving towards naturalness. We are returning to our origins, right?
Exactly. We are moving towards what is. So this is called, as they say, where to get energy. Where to get energy. There is no energy. We are each born simply in a huge flow. This flow goes through us. It is inexhaustible. There is an abundance of energy. And this is what we accumulate, this tinsel on ourselves. Now we must shed it all and remain with ourselves. Today I was also at a makeup session and wiped off all the foundation. I said, take it off. Since then, I've been saying, wow, remove all the foundation because I can't.
I can't. Honestly, I also feel uncomfortable wearing makeup. Like, I love it. For example, it suits me.
The image, yes, indeed.
Everything is beautiful, but for a photo shoot, for example, specifically.
And I think there will be changes in this too,
Possibly, yes. The camera does eat up a bit.
Again, it's like those leopard leggings.
That's also my problem, I understand. There are points that still need work, yes.
Like Pamela Anderson now, who is completely no makeup, nothing. And also, there are some nuances.
I don't really follow celebrities much, but I see that in my circle. Yes, the girls who have been going around with those lips and eyebrows from quite a young age. Yes, all of that is fading away. Yes, indeed, everything is moving towards this naturalness. And that makes me very happy. And I see that they are free. They are becoming free.
You can feel this freedom, right? This freedom influences, in principle, the whole world. And I believe that the year 25 will be incredibly transformative, even more so than 24. And us, this inner freedom, this will transition to external freedom, and we will continue to evolve more and more in this direction inward, meaning we will study ourselves more, understand ourselves better. So at the moment, the girls, or those who are interested, it is actually becoming very trendy to know anatomy and physiology. So this is no longer just the prerogative of doctors. It is now becoming a foundational knowledge for, in principle, children are studying it much more deeply in schools, and it is becoming a kind of must-have. That is, a child should basically know if something hurts, where the liver is, where the stomach is, what connections there are. They should already understand. And this is becoming more and more developed. So don't hesitate to develop yourself, because information doesn't come without energy. And the more and deeper you dig into something, especially, like, how can I not know how a car operates, right? Like the carburetor, I don't know, bushings or something else, right? Some nuances. I can give it to someone who understands it. But this car, it's my personal car, right? So it's generally better to understand this car. And when something is offered to you, always engage your critical thinking. Kristinochka, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this incredibly deep, open, sincere conversation.
Thank you.
I need to ask about your eyelids. Was the issue resolved? You mentioned wanting to lift your eyelids.
Of course, it was resolved naturally. But considering that I haven't done anything for over a year, I mean, no injections, right? Yet the result keeps getting better. Better, yes.
So age is increasing?
Age, yes. Age is getting better. I think that
because the body has limitless possibilities. The main thing is to trust and rely on the knowledge of anatomy and physiology. I thank you sincerely for the wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. And furthermore, if you have any questions regarding therapy, contraindications, pregnancy duration, what it includes, and so on, please write them all in the comments. I will definitely answer all the questions. And those who, as I said, write the most detailed comment under this video will receive 10 days of free access to the app. Regarding the app, you can sign up for this app via the link that will be under this video. There will also be a link to Kristina and her Instagram. If you wish, you can ask her some personal questions. Do you allow for such a moment? No problem. And regarding the app, all the details will be on the website. Also, the link is in the profile header. Stay on this channel, don't switch. There will be a lot of interesting content about all kinds of procedures. I will cover everything, and there will be new guests. Goodbye, everyone. And wishing everyone a fabulous mood. Kristina, thank you. Thank you.